great ideas come from? Well, someone looks around and sees a need. They become passionate about that need being addressed, and that is how change begins. That is exactly what happened in Greensburg in 1978. Mrs. Margaret Firkins, the Christian church's pastor's wife, saw children who needed clothes. The need. She began calling women she knew had children to see if they would be willing to donate clothing. And so began an important ministry that is still alive and well today called Care and Share. Although some of you might remember it by its former name, which was Twice Blessed. Mrs. Firkins was so successful that she began getting far more donations than she had bargained for. And before long, the business outgrew her basement and found a new home at Volts Oil. I know, Volts Oil. I never even realized Care and Share used to be out there. Like Topsy, it kept right on growing and moved into a larger building on Highway 54, which could accommodate furniture, household items, as well as the clothing. Well, it hopped and skipped around from building to building until Care and Share finally landed on Main Street. In fact, it's one of the few businesses that is on the same lot it occupied before the storm. Care and Share is a unique retail business because it relies on the efforts of volunteers and has ever since its inception. It has always filled an important need in our community, which is why, after the tornado, it was the first retail building to be rebuilt. Just as in 1978, our community needed Care and Share as we busily outfitted our kitchens and our living rooms and our wardrobes. People generously gave to those of us who lost belongings, and Care and Share provided a central location for some of those donations. Under the direction of ElVera Unruh of Haviland, Care and Share continues to thrive. There is no doubt that it's the children who really touch her heart, but volunteers say that she's just so good to everyone. ElVera has a way of treating all of her customers with dignity, regardless of their income or their personal situation. She gets to know them on a personal basis. And that's where that connection comes in, that all-important connection. It makes so much difference in relationships, in businesses, just across the board. As a result, they return and they tell her what it is they're looking for, and she keeps an eye out for what she knows people need. ElVera ministers to her clientele just by being herself and treating everyone as a friend. Almost as important is that under her direction, sales continue to grow. And this impacts the good the Ministerial Alliance can do. I'm guessing that if you don't already know ElVera, you wish you did. So come back after the break and you'll get to meet her. And just by the way, another organization that does so much good for Kiowa County are our local Rotarians. And in fact, they are sponsoring this program today. So thank you to our Rotary.
What is Rotary? Rotary is working together with common values and vision. Rotary is worldwide to eradicate polio, dig clean water wells, and save lives. Together, Rotarians grow local economies like ours, right here in Kiowa County. Rotary activities bring leaders together to combine resources for community success. You can be a part of the big picture. Support Rotary projects here and abroad. Join us. Place service over self together in Rotary.
This episode of Sit Down with Susan is brought to you by Greensburg Rotary. Thank you for coming back with us. We have ElVera Unruh with us today, and she manages the local Care and Share, and by all accounts, does a wonderful job doing it. But I want to go back a little bit and ask you how you got interested in even becoming involved in Care and Share.
Well, I became I've always been interested in retail. Mm-hmm. However, I did very little of it until John and I moved to Oregon, and we were there for 6 years. And I had a job at a specialty shop that was called Made in Oregon. Mm-hmm. And I was given, after a time, I was given the job of merchandiser. And that was just right down my alley. And I took it and I did it, and people started asking me how to do things, and I said, it's really not hard. but it was awfully hard for me to tell them.
Well, when you kind of just have a gift for something, like you have a gift for that, it's hard to explain how you come up with your ideas or where to put this or that.
And you have to put it there in any fashion so you know what's wrong with it, or if there's something wrong with how it looks. And that's the key to good merchandising, is knowing just a few little tips. Like one would be see everything you do in a pyramid.
Oh.
And it works.
So you kind of just keep that in mind all the time, how it's going to start at the top and build to the base.
Yes, and even in decorating in your home, if you have, say you have a picture and you want to incorporate it in your design, but you don't have anything that's quite big enough, just if you think in just what's right there in front of you, not what's up here, then you miss the actual focal point, which is probably a mirror, a picture, God forbid a television, but they do, it happens. And so when you know those few little things, you can do lots.
Well, I think it's made a big difference in Care and Share and the way things are displayed. And I know Care and Share is owned, the right word, by the Kiowa County Ministerial Alliance.
Yes, it is.
And how much of the profits from Care and Share go to the Ministerial Alliance?
I can't remember the exact percentage, but usually I think it's a third, maybe.
A third. And what do they do with those funds? How does the Ministerial Alliance use that money?
It goes into a benevolent fund, and they use it for people who maybe can't pay their
utilities or something,
or they need food, and they bring them to the food bank, which I don't have really anything to do with. But if someone comes to my store and says, I need help, then I call one of the pastors, and they take it from there. And
that's just, from what everyone says, a real reflection on you, that people feel okay. They feel comfortable telling you that they have a need.
Yes, they do. And
because without that, you would not, because as it is, you're a good liaison between your store and the Ministerial Alliance.
Yeah, and that's part of the ministry too, is helping people who really need something, because if you can't meet their physical needs, you can't meet their spiritual ones.
That's right.
That's just, I've always thought that, and I've been told that. And so, and you want them. One of the biggest things for me is for people to feel comfortable coming in there. Even if they're coming in there to buy stuff with their own money. Sometimes thrift stores used to have a stigma, and I just want that to go away.
Well, I think that you're doing very well on erasing the stigma, because the way you have designed Care and Share, it does not look like a thrift store. It doesn't look like a junk shop. It really looks like a place where people want to come and they want to spend time. But you get so many donations. How in the world do you manage all of those donations?
Well, I have help. I have volunteers.
And haven't volunteers always kind of been at the core of the workforce for Care and Share?
Absolutely. Without volunteers, you cannot do the job.
I bet.
When I stop and think about all the details in a day at Care and Share, it boggles my mind, because I would have never dreamed that until I worked there. I know that it takes time to put things out in a nice way and for them to look good, but just to clean the bathrooms, to vacuum, to dust, to wash dishes.
Yeah. I hadn't even thought about the dishwashing aspect.
Yeah, and I have tons of help with that.
That's great.
Yeah, I don't really want to pick out any one volunteer, but there is one who does way beyond her what she really needs to do. But
she really invests lots of time and energy.
She does. And she's become my right hand. She does a lot of things. I don't have to tell her.
She just knows.
She just knows.
She just knows. I know you have a lot of donations, and I know there was a time when Karen Share did some furniture too. You've kind of, do people still bring furniture and bring larger household items like that?
Yes, they do. They do. However, if they're of any value, and with the repurposing,
oh, sure, the trend and
yes, people buy that. They buy it. It doesn't stay very long. So if you think we don't have furniture, yes, we do, but
that's part of that sustainable theme. We just take things and repurpose it, strip it, repaint it, reuse it.
And there's quite a few people in this town that do those kind of things, and so it helps to get rid of. The only thing that is a problem with repurposing are old TVs.
Oh.
And they're so awkward, and some of them are so heavy.
Very large, heavy things.
And there's other places in the county to dispose of those things. So I would encourage people to
probably not bring televisions.
Not the big ones. If they have a small flat screen, we'll take those kinds.
Sure.
But the ones with the big,
those consoles, that we used to know of,
and those, and another thing that is by law, we don't sell mattresses. We give them away if somebody really wants them. And the other thing is infant and toddler car seats.
Oh, because of the laws may have changed for what's considered safe or not safe.
There's actually a date on them now, and I don't know the amount of years. I don't know if they really have I think they just have a date, the manufacturing date, and then
people can probably check online to see if it's appropriate.
Yeah.
How do you keep things from stacking up? What do you do? How do you recycle and refurbish, or?
Well, we are usually,
after a period of time.
We're usually overwhelmed after the county garage sale.
Oh, I bet so.
So people have been pretty good about waiting. We give them a flyer with their registration for the garage sale, and it states on there that to spread it out over 2 weeks, to call even and make an appointment. And people have done that, or they've just waited, and that helps a lot. However,
I bet it does.
However, we're still very overwhelmed.
And if things have been in your store for a while, where does that go?
Okay, we keep things, they're on the regular racks for 3 months, and then they're on clearance for 1 month. And then from there we pack them up, and we send all of our unsaleable items to disabled American veterans, and they come approximately every 3 months and pick those up.
Well, that's good to know that even though somebody here isn't buying them, that there may be somebody somewhere that's getting use out of them.
True. And the other thing about that is they tell me that nothing that is in their facility goes to the landfill. However, that's hard to believe, I know, in most people's minds, but they bail stuff that they can't sell. And if we put in shoes where there's only one shoe, they said, put it all in there, and they bail it, and it goes to a recycle.
I was going to say, so many products today, that I buy. This was made from recycled jeans, or this was made from recycled soles of shoes, or whatever.
Right.
So it doesn't surprise me that with the push of the country in general to repurpose and refurbish, that they can take all those items. There's some kind of industry that can turn those into a new product that for consumers.
Yeah, and it's and this makes it different than it used to be. Used to, maybe you could get rid of your blue jeans that you couldn't sell at one place. You get shoes, you get rid of old shoes at another place. But this is all one.
That's perfect.
They come and pick it up.
That's
we don't even have to help them load it.
They just come and get it, and they're on their way. Boy, you can't beat that. That's fabulous.
I think Goodwill does something similar. So, you've got a choice.
Now, when it comes to donations, I know that Care and Share started with children's clothing. and it's certainly grown from there, and that you were the first retail store back after the tornado.
That's correct.
And but if you could ask for, like, what is one thing you always seem to need more of? If for any of our listeners out there who might have, you know, these items that you're going to mention, what do we need to look for? Like, hey, they need this at Care and Share. I think I'll take this down. What would you say?
Well, we always need men's jeans.
Men's jeans.
Yes, and we always need shoes.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, and for those of you who fear other people's shoes, we actually wash all the tennis shoes.
Oh, good.
We don't the others, but you can spray them.
Sure.
I would not wear used shoes either, but now it's like you can.
Well, take a Clorox wipe and clean those out.
There's so many cleaners out there that
Sure.
are effective, and so it's not that bad. We always need volunteers.
And volunteers, for sure.
Yes. And I would like to thank Jo Ross.
I was going to say, she's using social media a
She
little bit,
is.
isn't she, to
Oh,
help
yes.
with your, not only your sales, but your desire for volunteers?
Yeah, and she'll put on there if we need jeans or that kind of stuff, you know. She'll put it on there. And last week she put on that we were sorely in need of volunteers. And on last Thursday we had 15. I've never had 15.
So you just put out the call and people come, and so that's good to know too.
Yeah, and she's done a very good job at it. She's on the board. And so, by the way, all the board members for Care and Share, it's a standalone board, and they absolutely, every one of them do something active to
keep it running.
Yes, they do. It's a working board, I would say.
And it's nice to feel that support, I bet, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because I can go to any one of them and say, you know, that I need to talk about this, or, you know, I need to know something. And they're all very
responsive to you.
Responsive and cordial. Yes, they are.
That is excellent. For people who might be wanting to donate, first of all, and then we'll talk about people who want to shop, but for people who want to donate, when, where, how do they do that?
They can bring, actually we would prefer that you bring your items in either trash bags or small or medium-sized boxes, not huge boxes, because when you put those, they're hard to.
I was going to say they're very hard to manipulate, aren't
Yeah,
they?
they
They're
are.
very heavy, even if all the separate items aren't particularly heavy. By the time you get them in a giant box, it's very unwieldy to deal with.
Oh yeah, it is. So we prefer either trash bags or medium-sized boxes, and then we also have 3 bins in the back of the store that it says donations on them. They're green. And
I think we're going to take maybe a little look at those later too, just to kind of show people in case they're not sure.
Yeah. But anyway, so on days that we're not open, they can bring stuff and put it in those bins.
Okay.
And there's 2 others that are recycle bins, so don't put your stuff in those. We do check them, however. And
but that's really meant for recycle for you.
Yes.
For the store.
Yes, it is.
Just like all the rest of us
Yes.
have recycle bins.
Yeah, and it's fine to bring stuff on days we're open, which is Monday 9 to 5, Friday 9 to 5, and Saturday 9 to 2. And so those are, you can bring them during the time. And if you know we're open, we prefer that you knock on the door or come in the front door and say, I have items to donate.
So if there's somebody there, just let you know.
Yes, yes. And most of the time I can help them, you know. So
for shoppers, the time to come is Monday and Friday and Saturday from 9 to 2. Okay.
Yes.
So that you get people after lunch if they're working through the noon hour or something like that.
Yeah.
They can come in.
Yes. Yes.
And I know you have such a variety of items, and we're going to take a little walk through the store later and just look at some of those wonderful displays. Every time I go, I just think, oh, I'd like to take that dining room set and take that home, or that set of dishes, or there's always just great sets of dishes setting out.
Yes.
And somebody even actually bought me a little food grinder in there the other day, and I've yet to use it, but I'm going to make my pressed chicken that my mom used to make, and so I just rarely ever go in there. And of course, what would Spirit Week at school be without care and share? Mm-hmm. We would have nothing.
An ugly sweater.
A lot of ugly sweater parties are very popular. That's a great place to go and shop.
It is.
And I'm pretty sure I've contributed to people's wardrobe on their ugly Christmas party based on some of the sweaters I've taken. My daughter assures me people are wearing my donations to ugly Christmas parties, I'm sure. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Well, ElVera, is there anything you would like to add about Care and Share or about your role in that business?
I just think it's a very necessary thing. I know that in the economy, there are people who think if there's X amount of thrift stores or consignment stores in a town that they're suffering. I don't know that I exactly look at it completely that way. I think it is somewhat true, but I think that people have become more conservative. And there's always going to be people out there who buy beautiful things and bring them to Care and Share.
And you're one of the busiest stores in town, aren't you?
We are very busy, yes. And I just really thank all of the volunteers and the board and the Ministerial Alliance, because without them,
there wouldn't be a Care and Share, would there?
No, there wouldn't. And they were.
And that really does fill a need.
Oh, it does.
Some of us go because we just want to, and we enjoy seeing what's there and having the fun of sorting through it. And some people are shopping there because they need to. And so it's on more than one level. And
it's also a social event.
It is.
Sometimes you see people just visiting. There's some sisters that come in every once in a while, and they all have children, and they all know that it's okay for their kids to play with the toys, but one of them will sit on the floor and read to all the other little kids while the other mothers are shopping.
Oh, well, you can't beat that.
So, there's all kinds of good
things going on there, aren't there?
There are. There really are.
And I know you have a heart for children. ElVera, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And we're going to take a little look at your store later. So take a piece of advice from ElVera. If you have men's jeans, if you have shoes, if you have items that you're just not using anymore. If it's been over a year, they say if it's been over a year since you've worn it, get it out of your closet, take it to Care and Share. And for those of you who have even an hour a week, whatever time you have that you could come down to Care and Share and spend some time volunteering, sorting through people's donations, I know they would really appreciate it. And we are so glad to have that business here in our community. So thank you very much.
And thanks for having me.
The internet has drastically changed the way we communicate. Are you keeping up with the times? The Kiowa County Media Center can connect you with viewers in markets all over the region, the state, and the world. Our technology keeps us on pace with the high demand of internet video content. Bring your audience from anywhere in the world to your wedding, conference, sporting event, concert, and much more. No one does high-quality video streaming like us. We are the Kiowa County Media Center, leading the new age of communication.
This episode of Sit Down with Susan is brought to you by Greensburg Rotary. We're standing outside Care and Share, and I think you should have the opportunity to take a look at all the great displays and some of the wonderful items they have inside. So let's go. This is always one of my favorite places to stop in the store. They have all kinds of dishes, collectibles. Today there's some Boyd's Bears, there's some Dreamsicles over there, some great glassware. If you were going to have a group, these little party sets made of milk glass, I mean, that would be a great little addition. And it's not for very much of an investment. You could use them once or twice and be good to go. Always lots of dishes, great sets of dishes, cups and mugs and tablecloths. And we all know tablecloths can be kind of pricey, and so they have those and placemats here. Just lots of really good additions for your kitchen. Coffee makers and grinders and blenders. There's some real finds over here. Like, that's awesome, I think. And then when I noticed all these games, and a lot of them are new games, like they're made for DVDs, newlywed games. There's some Seen It games, more than one, bingo, Wheel of Fortune. Games tend to be pretty pricey, and this is a perfect place to come play the game a few times. If you get tired of it, just bring it back. Somebody else will be able to use it. We all know that children's toys can be a large investment, but you know, if you come down here, they're in wonderful shape. They're all together. This little, that little kitchen, that little stove, how cute is that? Any little girl would love that. They have wonderful selection, really do. Children's books. So maybe you could even do kind of a trade if you have some children's books at home that your kids have read and aren't interested anymore. Trade them out. Come get some of these, bring some of yours up. Everybody wins. There's even a golf bag for your little one. A U.S. Kids golf bag. $5. What a buy. It's perfect. We have curtains, draperies, mattresses for a baby bed, it looks like. And there's some men's casual shirts. And then we get over here to the men's jeans. Look at all the shelves we have available for men's jeans. And there's hardly any to choose from. Lots of sizes where we have nothing. I know they'd love to have more men's jeans and fill up this whole selection, this whole section here. Ladies' purses galore, clutches, billfolds, you name it. All kinds of back to school clutches and travel bags. Very nice displays. This one that ElVera's by, what a cute outfit. Anybody would like to wear that. Oh, she's going to snazz it up a little bit with some color. She's always thinking that, ElVera. This is the ladies section. You can see that it's a much larger section than the men's. We have several racks of slacks and shorts and blouses and dresses, just all kinds and varieties. A lot of summer wear looks like is out right now. Loads of shoes, and you know what? These are good even for dress up. Like if you have children who like to play dress up, come down here. That way they don't have to wear your shoes and scuff those. For little or no money, your kids can play with and have a great time. These silver ones, seriously, what little girl isn't going to want to dress up with silver shoes? Those are so cute. Now this is the business end of Care and Share, and we have volunteers back here who are sorting and trying to get some sort of order to all of the donations that people have made. And I know that ElVera counts on them for their time and their abilities. They invest lots and lots of hours, these gals and lots of other people who aren't here today. And so this whole area just has to always be sorted, marked, and then displayed. So there's always lots to do. Now, if you want to make a donation, we'll look here in the back. Notice that they have the donation bins clearly marked with donations, okay? These are just for typical recycle like we would have in our homes. So if you're coming up to donate, make sure you use one of these 3 donation bins. It's a fabulous ministry to our community. So many people use it, so many people need it. If you have things that you can donate, by all means bring them up. More importantly, if you have some time you could donate, even if you have just an hour or 2 hours. I know ElVera, the board, the community would really appreciate your time. So thank you for spending a day with us at Care and Share. Tune in again with Sit Down with Susan.
What is Rotary? Rotary is working together with common values and vision. Rotary is worldwide to eradicate polio, dig clean water wells, and save lives. Together, Rotarians grow local economies like ours, right here in Kiowa County. Rotary activities bring leaders together to combine resources for community success. You can be a part of the big picture. Support Rotary projects here and abroad. Join us. Place service over self together in Rotary.
Hi, thank you for coming back. Viewers, your wish has been granted. There have been so many of you who are wanting an encore performance of Randy Rinker's that today you're going to get just that. So, we would love to present, again, Mr. Randy Rinker.